uninterrupted power for the games.
We have a supply of reliable power.
Telikom launches Pacific Games mobile app. And Pacific Games Council impressed with games facilities.
This is National EMTV News with Tokana Hasavi.
A very good evening to you and thank you for joining us. This is Thursday's news. Electricity supply into Port Moresby has been enhanced, with ExxonMobil delivering up to 25 megawatts from the LNG plant. ExxonMobil's Managing Director Andrew Barry says this is to deliver better and improved electricity to the city and in time for the Games. The milestone was celebrated at the LNG plant at Papua by dignitaries from all sectors this morning.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, ExxonMobil's Managing Director Andrew Barry, state ministers and members of parliament were down at the LNG plant site to witness the commencement of the power supply into the city. The supply of 25 megawatts of electricity is a MOU agreement between the government and PNG Power early this year,
which demonstrates the commitment that we have to improving the quality of lives within PNG.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said the country has faced power problems in the past years, and this attempt is said to help a lot.
This is the first really serious attempt in making sure that we have a supply of reliable power in many townships throughout Papua New Guinea.
Not only city residents will benefit, but the arrangement will save PNG Power with fuel costs.
The city basically will have savings in terms of fuel that will be passed through to the company, and PNG Power benefits out of that.
And with only 2 days left for the opening of the 15th Pacific Games in the city, ExxonMobil and PNG Power says power supply will not be a problem.
Power has been a problem for all of us. Now we have some confidence and we can be a bit more comfortable that there will be reliable power, and we won't let our country down with our power failure in the middle of the game, or especially the...
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, PNG Power Chief Executive John Tangit says Port Moresby is not the only centre to benefit from this arrangement. Tangit says PNG Power will save costs for fuel while improving electricity to other provinces. He says the whole country will see changes with effective power supply.
The city basically will have savings in terms of fuel that will be passed through to the company, and PNG Power benefits out of that. And that's what it means now. And with the 70 megawatts come, it will be more decrease in the volume of fuel that we use as a company. And that's the benefit that all our customers across PNG will benefit from, because it's cross-subsidized.
The Lands Division in our province is questioning the transfer of a lands title of a large portion of land near Popondetta town. Our Governor Gary Jufa said the moratorium on SABLs in the country, and specifically the one created by the Oro provincial government, has special protocols in place which this particular lands title transfer did not follow.
The land in question is portion 373, Milinch Sangara at Double Cross outside Popondetta town. According to the Oro Province moratorium on land transfer, all land deals are to be presented to the Provincial Executive Council for deliberation and approval. Governor Jufa says this has not happened, but the title is now in the hands of a former employee of a logging company that was found to be operating illegally in the province. This company have since closed their operations. The land in question used to be the storage space for that company.
Some of the foreigners that are operating in the province are very genuine. A number of them are also involved in activities like this. They're getting involved in the politics. They're getting involved with corrupt public servants. I'm not going to stand for it.
Jufa says this issue came to light when a court order and police were used to forcibly remove over 20 families who have settled on this land. The settlers are all victims of the 2007 Cyclone Guba.
They have to bunk up with their relatives in the town areas or go to other settlements, and this is inhumane. And I'm very disappointed that the police were used to execute this court order without informing me.
The investigations into this latest transfer of land in the Oro province will add to the ongoing land cases that the province is reviewing. Since the moratorium on SABL, Oro Province have been successful in revoking illegal land deals and restoring titles to customary landowners. Part of the zero tolerance in land grabbing in Oro Province is the empowering of the Lands Division.
We are overhauling the entire administration and carrying out a restructure, and the Lands Division will be resourced. We are putting a land enforcement unit in place that is going to move around the entire province and investigate and act and enforce the land laws in the province.
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, Northern Governor Gary Jufa is looking forward towards the reform and modernity in his administration. The absence of a permanent provincial administrator over the past 2 years has slowed the delivery of government services, but with the appointment of former Port Moresby General Hospital CEO Sam Begogo, Governor Jufa is positive for a significant change.
There are already complaints in the Oro Public Service from people who are hostile to the changes, but I'd like to inform them that these changes are very necessary for us to deliver the programs that the government has to deliver to its people. We want credible, enthusiastic, dynamic, innovative, and capable people to be employed in the public service. Now, it says that housing is not part of the package, but in my opinion, housing is vital. So the provincial government is going to look at making sure that our public servants have houses. If they have houses, they're happy. If they're happy, they're productive. That's how it works. It's taken some time, but we are finally getting there. I want to encourage the people of Oro and the public servants to embrace these changes and support them.
Well, His Royal Highness Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, has arrived in Papua New Guinea. He has flown into the country on the government Falcon jet this afternoon.
His Royal Highness was flown into the country on the government Falcon jet this afternoon and met with a 21-gun salute by the Papua New Guinea Defence Force. The Prince was met by government officials including Foreign Affairs Minister Rimbing Pato and Pacific Games host Governor Powes Pakop and Sports Minister Justin Chechenko. The Duke of York then inspected the Guard of Honor before he was escorted out of the airport by Brigadier General Gilbert Toropo. The Duke of York has several events on his program before officially opening the 2015 Port Moresby Pacific Games on Saturday evening. Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. Tonight, still to come, Motor Vehicle Insurance opens office in Manus and Women in Business launches Expo. Stay tuned for that. Good to have you back with National EMTV News. Employees of PNG Ports Corporation in Lae are going through a protest issue with its employees. The PNG Maritime Transport and Workers Union have represented some of Lae's PNG Ports Corporation employees following a delay in their entitlements. It comes after complaints raised by some of the employees on their payment entitlements claimed to have not been addressed since 2011.
The 5% increase in payments of PNG Ports workers was made in 2011 to all port workers in the country. Following that, PNG Maritime Transport and Workers Union President Philip Mavian says some employees have not seen that change take into effect for over 4 years now.
Somebody has to come out and tell us why, when he's going to pay us, my members. We might as well go off this afternoon.
He said Tuesday's silent protest of Lae PNG Ports workers walking off their jobs at 1 p.m. was an act of getting attention from their management to address their entitlement issues.
This strike is registered under Labour Department, and we are already vote in favor of taking action. And this is why we're taking action. We cannot take action without any registration.
The union president says a strike will roll out if they don't get any favorable response from their management level. Following this issue, Morobe Governor Kelly Naru has also raised concerns on the actions taken by a few PNG Ports employees in Lae, which may affect overall operations of services and goods delivery to people.
Customer service and the flow of goods and services in and out of the wharf should be of paramount consideration.
The union is backing for its minority workers' benefits and is calling for responsible parties to act upon their case to avoid inconveniences to other stakeholders. Colin Barilai, National EMTV News, Leh.
Meanwhile, PNG Port's Chief Executive Officer Stanley Alphonse described the strike in Leh as illegal and asked all union members to return to work. Mr. Alphonse said the Board of Management is aware of the log of complaints and says negotiations are ongoing. He says the union did not accept the alternatives made by the board and referred the matter to industrial arbitration, which is yet to be addressed. He also denied claims by the union that the board is ignoring the log of complaints. Southern Islands Governor William Powie will move a motion in the next Parliament sitting to place the 400-year-old King James Bible in the chambers of Parliament. Governor Powie said since Parliament Speaker Theo Zurino has taken the task of modernising the Parliament and in recognising PNG as a Christian country, this motion will be tabled in Parliament for debate.
Governor Powie's intention was announced by Parliament Speaker Theo Zurino during the visit of the King James Bible in Mendi, Southern Highlands Province last Friday. Governor Powie described the arrival of the Bible in Mendi as an honor for the people of Southern Highlands Province. He challenged the people of Southern Highlands to embrace changes taking place in the province and maintain their Christian faith and practices, something Powie believes can help change and develop Southern Highlands Province. Governor Powie said the move to have the Bible placed in the Chamber of Parliament must be debated in the next Parliament sitting, but he is confident most members of Parliament will agree, while some might go against it. Meanwhile, Parliament Speaker Theo Zurino maintained that the 400-year-old Bible landing in PNG is goodwill as the country turns 40 come September 16th. The Bible was welcomed by Governor Powie, Mendi MP Deke Wanu, members of the Provincial Assembly and the Provincial Administration, plus the religious community in Mendi. Stanley Oved Jr., National EMTV News.
A motor vehicle insurance limited branch will be established in Lorengau, Manus Province to monitor the registration and insurance of vehicles in Manus. This follows years of dialogue between MVIL and the Manus provincial government. The branch establishment is predicted to triple the annual provincial revenue.
The establishment of a branch means all vehicles operating in Manus will be registered through the provincial administration. Currently, most government or private vehicles shipped into Manus are registered in other provinces. This has caused the provincial government to miss out on the revenue that could have been generated if the vehicles were registered in Manus.
Whenever we talk about budget, the provincial government always asks the administration, what are you doing in increasing our revenue? And this is one of the source or one of the revenue heads.
Since 2012, MVIL has established offices in a number of provinces, including Medang, Northern and Jiwaka. The opening of the Manus branch next Friday comes with some expectations to create employment for locals, promote road safety through vehicle insurance, and a boost for its provincial revenue. MVIL plans to work closely with the Transport Department, Traffic Police and Provincial Administration to ensure road safety is practiced.
In 2014, there was a 50.6% growth in business, meaning that there's some activities going on in the province, and we believe there will be more vehicles, new vehicles imported into the province.
Statistics from MVIL reveal that there are over 1,000 vehicles operating in Manus since the beginning of the year. Though there are limited records of vehicles, insurances, registration and driver's licenses in the province, MVIL is confident it will update its records following the branch opening.
We have seen a lot of improvement, especially in the provinces that we assisted in setting up our system and through that agreement. We have seen growth in the registration revenue.
An official document was signed in Port Moresby this morning between MVIL and the Manus Provincial Administration, officiating the launch of the branch. Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The PNG Women in Business kicked off its second major expo to a vibrant start at the Waigani Constitutional Park here in the nation's capital today. The expo will run for 2 weeks from the 2nd to the 12th of July, coinciding with the Pacific Games, and will feature an impressive range of small to large-scale businesses, talent and skills from both local and foreign women.
Proud, determined and aspiring PNG businesswomen braved the heat and dusty conditions of Port Moresby by turning up in the hundreds to witness the launching of the Foundation's second major expo and set up stalls to showcase their products and services. The event was launched by Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, who told the women that the key to running successful businesses is discipline and resilience despite the many challenges that occur. Prime Minister O'Neill said the expo is an opportunity for mothers to come together and discuss policies which will empower women in our communities.
Expo is a good opportunity. You may welcome plenty of visitors to Baika. There's Pacific Games, and give me opportunity. You may look at them some visitors. Only become na time only finish him game. Only become na visit him all expo. You may there's a time only be sawe also. All mama work strong the country. You may.
Also speaking at the official opening was NCD Commissioner representing women and Director of PNG Women in Business, Janet Sape, who revealed that the expo will be expecting a delegation of 40 Indonesian women who have been sponsored by the Indonesian government to take part. Also expected is a group from the Solomon Islands.
All married like working business, na struggle is stop. Tami looking also in Pacific Games he come, no got one black chance, all working business. Because all big black business he benefit long, big black companies he come long, and so all married me looking only left out. All market close to NCD, so me black come up in initiative me black yet.
The first expo held in Morobe province in 2010 brought over 400 women from around the country, region and world. This year, the number of participants looks to surpass that figure. Women in Business initially started with about 50 women, mostly from urban areas, but now proudly boasts 15,000 members from both urban and rural areas, indicating a high level of interest in business practices amongst the PNG women. Vanessa Knight, National EMTV News.
The exclusive telecommunications provider of the 2015 Games, Telikom PNG, now has a mobile app that can give anyone around the world access to real-time updates of the Pacific Games. Called the Pacific Games app, it also features the EMTV Online app that gives the added value of the games live streaming online. The app is user-friendly and currently available on Google Play Store for Android phones to download for free. The basic features meet the user's demand for information about the Pacific Games medal tally, sports schedules, ticketing, and maps providing location details. It also provides a photo gallery. The creative mind behind this innovation is Telikom PNG's very own app developer, Shadrach Yaungere.
Proud to present this application. It's an Android application that will basically provide information for the general public.
The Pacific Games app ties in well with Telekom's extensive network that covers all 24 Games venues. It's a network that will deliver fixed internet services and television broadcast uplink to 22 nations in the Pacific region via satellite, among other invaluable telco services. But perhaps the most appealing element of Telekom's Games network is free Wi-Fi internet service at all venues for visitors and athletes. Telikom CEO Michael Donnelly congratulated his team for setting up the network using world-class equipment.
Telikom PNG's staff, they have worked very, very hard in pulling all of these services together and executed quite a complex commercial and engineering projects successfully.
The Games Organising Committee CEO Peter Stewart stressed the importance of having a telecommunications partner like Telikom in the Games.
But probably the most significant thing from the Games point of view is the contribution that Telikom is making to the broadcast and the ability for us to send images and information to the rest of the world.
Preliminary sports will be played tomorrow before the opening ceremony on Saturday, and with Telikom PNG's network up and running, you can download the Pacific Games app and connect with the spirit of the Games. And now we take a look at the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.3635 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was trading at $0.356 $0.4630 Australian dollars, €0.3184 and 43.45 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, cocoa and copper all closed the day lower. Palm oil, crude oil and copper also closed the day lower. And finally on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 138 points higher, the ASX closed at 30 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 31 points higher as well. You're watching National EMTV News tonight. We'll have what's happening overseas when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, farmers from the Chinese province of Liaoning have created stunning works of art out of their rice paddies. Spanning around 25 acres, the farmers created a 3D effect on the sprawling pieces of art by using different varieties of rice saplings. The dazzling designs are apparently for prayer and blessings. China is the world's biggest rice producer, producing over 28% of the world's total output. Lexus, the luxury subsidy of Japanese multinational corporation Toyota, has developed a working hoverboard. Back to the Future enthusiasts will be amazed to hear that the board is basically a skateboard without wheels that hovers above the ground. The board, known as Slide, is not yet on sale, but a teaser preview of Lexus's first real rideable hoverboard appeared on their website, which details the company's use of magnetic levitation and nitrogen-cooled superconductors. A managing officer at Toyota also revealed the company's advanced studies into flying cars. Well, something to take us to Trukai Sports tonight. The annual Fun Run event is set to be even bigger this year. Chief Executive Officer of Kallang Advertising Limited, John Mong, while presenting the Fun Run t-shirts to schools, says the event will coincide with the Pacific Games as it will take place on July 5th after the opening ceremony. EMTV's Yvonne Kambibel reports.
Kallang Advertising Limited, trading as FM 100 and Hot 97 FM, has officially handed over 600 Fun Run t-shirts to the Car Memorial and the Holy Rosary Primary Schools in the nation's capital.
Kallang Advertising Limited successfully bidded for 600 shirts through the annual Trukai Fun Run auction.
Mr. Mong added that the distribution of shirts is their way of promoting the Fun Run goals and objectives, as well as showing their engagement with the community and supporting community services. He said the event is not only a major fundraising drive for Papua New Guinean athletes, but an event that brings together many different people. Therefore, they are happy to be associated with Trukai Industries Limited and the PNG Sports Federation.
History has shown that the event brings people of all walks of life to participate in the Fun Run to ensure that they all support the cause of passaging and working on the day itself.
With the Pacific Games just 3 days away, he said as a broadcasting organization, they will do their best while providing live coverage during the Games.
We all know that we are heading towards the Pacific Game, which is at least 2 or 3 days away, and the Fun Run event itself will coincide with the actual Pacific Games, and we want to wish our Team PNG all the best, and we all need to stand behind as we as one of the broadcasters in the game itself. We want to support the PNG team and do all the live game calls in where our team is participating, and we want to advise all our people in Papua New Guinea to support the Team PNG, and we'll see that they will get more gold out of the games, and we all wish them all the best.
This year's Fun Run t-shirts are special as they come with a medallion for participants to keep as souvenirs. Yvonne Kambibel, National EMTV News.
Well, coming up next in Trukai Sports, the Pacific Games Council Chairman with nothing but praise for our Games facilities. Also, more big name teams arrive and the All-Search Baton Relay on its final leg. Stay with us for that.
True Kai Sports.
Welcome to True Guy Sports. The Pacific Games Council President, Vidya Lakan, today told the media that the Pacific Games Council is pleased with the Games Organising Committee and the work that it has done in making sure facilities are ready in time for the Games. The speculations of security issues were also clarified and were made clear by the Pacific Games Council Executive Director Andrew Minogue. MTV's Shane Saroya has more on this report.
A full briefing from the Commander David Manning, who is the designated commander of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, who's in charge of the security operation. As we understand it, there are close to 3,000 security personnel who will be engaged, both from the constabulary and also the Defence Forces and some of the other agencies in Papua New Guinea, with some advice from the Australian Defence Forces who have liaisons up here.
We are convinced that Papua New Guinea is ready to host the 24 island nations that will be taking part in the 15th Pacific Games.
Some of the athletes who arrived well in advance prior to the 3-day schedule were well taken care of and looked after at the Games Village.
It's a very comfortable environment for the athletes to be living in.
The training facilities have opened yesterday, and the athletes who arrived yesterday had the opportunity to commence training, with full training starting today onwards till the 2 weeks duration of the Games. The President also put aside the comments raised by media on the Games' readiness.
There was never ever any doubt in our minds about the ability of Papua New Guinea to have the Games venues ready in time.
He reaffirmed his statement by saying the facilities are of high standard and the athletes will definitely enjoy the Games and perform to expectations.
As I said, the venues that have been made available to us to host our Games has far exceeded our expectations, and I can say openly it is perhaps the best venues we have ever had for the Pacific Games.
When asked whether the level of the Games and the infrastructure should be increased with the involvement of Australia and New Zealand, his answer was straight.
We will continue to provide what we need to provide to host either the mini games or the Pacific Games. I don't think there will be any need to raise our standard because Australia and New Zealand might be taking part. I don't think that would be the issue. At each game, we try and improve on the previous game, so that progression will continue.
By involvement of these two nations, we'll see some of the athletes securing attachment opportunities from clubs in Australia and New Zealand and may benefit the island nations. Shane Saroya, National, MTV Sports.
Well, the president of the Pacific Games Council, Vidya Lakan, has hit back at claims by the New Zealand under-23 football officials claiming facilities at the Bisney Sports Grounds are not up to standard. Initial claims had been made by All Whites coach Anthony Hudson that the setup had been very poor, with the squad forced to play 5 matches over 10 days in grueling conditions. However, President Lakan responded saying all other nations had to deal with New Zealand weather from previous competitions, and this was no different.
I'm not aware of what the expectations of the New Zealand football team is. I also know they're complaining about the weather as well. When our teams go and play football in New Zealand in winter, we never complain about the weather. They organize the tournaments, we take part. They choose the times of the tournament, we don't complain. So, from our perspective, I don't know where they're coming from, but from what we have seen, what we have experienced, we have no complaints at all.
Both Fiji and the Solomon Islands under-23 national football teams arrived in Port Moresby last night, both teams ready and raring to go on the eve of their competition. Placed in Pool A, Fiji opened their campaign against Vanuatu, and the Solomon Islands had the tough task facing Olympic favourites New Zealand.
The Islanders arrive into a low-key affair, confident, however, in their lead-up to the Games. Amongst the group of familiar face, young captain Tutizama Tanito, star player for PNG's Hekari United Football Club.
Yeah, I'm good lo preparation lo team lo mi looking all weakness lo mi plan mi uklem. Mi ready lo come lo compete lo sla SPG.
Assistant coach Eddie Matahara also confident in the side and acknowledging the stiff challenge posed by other national teams.
Yeah, we played against New Caledonia in Vanuatu and also PNG in Solomons when PNG team under 22 at Solomons. I think we have a taste of what's like to play against them. And for the past week, we have been preparing just to counter the New Caledonia and PNG.
The Solomon Islands chef de mission Ronald Talasasa, however, placing faith in his team.
We know that the results for our soccer team at the last Melanesian Cup for them was not as what everybody else in Solomon Islands expected. But for here, we are looking forward to the games and we are trusting our under-23 soccer men to give us the results.
The Fijian under-23 national team would arrive soon after. Their squad having a number of players from the under-20 team that created Pacific history, being the only nation from the region to defeat a South American opponent in any FIFA competition. Their squad led by experienced Uruguayan coach Juan Carlos Buzetti.
A completely different environment and with tough teams. We saw in Vanuatu, New Caledonia, Vanuatu, and in Solo they have a very good squad. So it will be a very tough tournament no matter what, and also the conditions. Here is hot and humid, so it won't be easy for anybody. Everybody developed very well, and I think everybody coming very well prepared. So we expect a very tough tournament no matter what.
Fiji meet Vanuatu in their opening fixture, while the Solomon Islands will take on New Zealand. Jeremy Mogi, National EMTV Sports.
Well, Jackson's International Airport this afternoon saw more arrivals of teams participating in the Pacific Games. They included the Va'a team from Cook Islands, basketballers from American Samoa, and the Australian weightlifting squad. Elijah Levette was at the airport.
The first team to arrive were the Australians, the weightlifting team participating in the Pacific Games for the first time and creating history in itself.
Oh, hopefully, yes. I hope that this will be the start of our continued participation in the Games, so yeah.
Followed soon after by American Samoa and the tall, lanky basketball players. Assistant coach Deal Lankild, confident in his team's approach to these Pacific Games.
We're just very excited to be here, just to see the competition that Papua New Guinea had in 2011. We're very excited to see what Papua New Guinea has to offer in 2015, and the type of competition that all these other Pacific Islanders are here. It's very exciting for us to be here today.
And finally, the Cook Islanders, the contingent, stunning in their traditional headdress. The Va'a team excited to be in Port Moresby.
Yes, it's a very long way for us to come here from Rarotonga, so we're very happy to have finally arrived, ready for the Games.
Elijah Levette, National EMTV Sports.
You're with Trukai Sports. Coming up after the break, New Caledonia impressed with Games facilities and PNG's warm welcome. And we also find out where the oil search pattern relay is running next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Good to have you back with Trukai Sports. The Lily Magazine Pacific Games edition was launched yesterday and features some of PNG's female gold medal prospects for the Games, which begin this weekend. With just 2 days till the opening ceremony, the athletes are excited to compete in front of their nation.
The special edition Pacific Games launch of the Lily Magazine saw tennis sisters Abigail and Marsha Terapisa, Xenia Penny and Vavina Yore present to sign autographs and meet members of the public. Xenia Penny was a former swimmer, now turned Va'a paddler, and is set to do her country proud. The last time the Pacific Games was in town, she watched athletes she looked up to and now has the opportunity and is excited to compete on home waters.
Apart from my family and wanting to do it for my country and my people, it's that's what drives me, is to represent my country on home soil. Or for me, because I paddle on home water, it's like I said I watched the Pacific Games in '91 when I was 8 years old, and that inspiration just overcame me. And since that time, I've always wanted to represent Papua New Guinea, and to represent here now 24 years later, it's it's an extreme privilege. I feel so privileged to do that.
With the opening ceremony just days away, the whole country is gearing up to hold the biggest sporting event in the Pacific. Dion Kombang, National EMTV Sports.
The buoyant New Caledonian team is elated to be in the country, saying they are extremely impressed with the Games facilities and the welcoming of their athletes by the host nation. Team manager Michael Quinton is adamant that PNG will be their toughest competition, naming the sport of swimming as one of New Caledonia's strongest gold medal prospects.
PNG's Melanesian brother, New Caledonia, is eager to begin their Pacific Games campaign. Wednesday saw the arrival of more of their athletes at the Jacksons International Airport in Port Moresby.
I hope to have good results here, and we know we'll have tough competition against Papua New Guinea team that is for us the favorite of the games in terms of medals, but quite reasonable, confident about having a good result and trying to fight against Papua New Guinean athletes.
New Caledonia is looking to claim victory in the sports they will be contesting.
The girls in the swimming team are really good. So Lara Grandjean, who has been in the last games 17 gold medals. So she will do only 12 races here, but we hope 12 gold medals for her. The male, we know we've got Ryan Pinney against us, so it will be tough competition.
Team manager Michelle Quinton, a former athlete himself who took part in the 1991 South Pacific Games, says Papua New Guinea is one of the most hospitable nations, and they have been overwhelmed and equally impressed by the standard of Games facilities and services being provided.
It's really great. The village, we have seen in the last month the growth of the village, and we've been spending a few nights over there, and it's really good accommodation, good food, really good food, and the venues are good also. So now we are really confident about all that, and the organization is good. So
New Caledonia have been overall winners of more Pacific Games than any other island nation, being top of the medal tally for 12 games. Sashipe Silovo, National EMTV Sports.
Business houses and sponsors came out in numbers to be part of the baton relay last leg into Port Moresby South today. Today it was in the Moresby South electorate, the home of Sports and Pacific Games Minister Justin Chichenko. He walked with the baton from Korobosia to downtown Port Moresby.
The Osage baton began its journey at Mahuro village this morning. The PNG Defence Force and police, together with the community, gathered at the entrance to begin the relay. Sports Minister and member for Moresby South, Justin Chichenko, led the way.
The Moresby South leg of the baton for the Pacific Games begins! Up to you!
The baton moved downhill to Kirakira. The village was excited to receive the baton for a second time. Through Sabama and into Badili, the relay slowed as thousands of people filled the streets, both in front and behind the baton runners. The baton changed hands every 100 yards. Even Tura was part of the extended convoy. The relay this morning saw probably the biggest crowds along the route of its journey in the host city. From Badili, the baton passed through the roundabout and a detour into Koki Market. The relay team then continued on to Ella Beach and was received by traditional dancers. In town, BSP staff were out in force. Office workers came out of their buildings. Some companies had set their banners and showed off their colors. A quick hijacking of the baton meant a short stop at PNG ports before turning back to the freeway. The final runners brought the relay baton to the police headquarters, thus completing the journey for the baton today. The All Search Baton Relay continues.
We'll have all of today's weather details for you coming up after the break. Stay tuned for that.
True Kai Sports.
Taking a quick look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in southern region, mostly fine in Port Moresby, Popondetta and Karama. In Mombasa, cloudy periods expected in Lake City, fine weather in Wewak and Bunnymore. In the New Guinea Islands, fine although cloudy at times expected in Lorengau. And lastly, in the Highlands region, all centres relatively fine. Well, that's been the news, sports and weather tonight. On behalf of the entire news crew, I'm Tokana Hasavi. Thanks for joining us. You have a top night.